To me, the handcrafted cocktails are it. If you're mixing me a cocktail, I'm excited.
Yeah.
If it's just poured out of a big vat like they do at Oga's, like pass.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Flick, and you're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast with Kevin, Danny, Eli, and Rachel.
Jumbo, everyone.
Harambe.
And welcome to another edition of
The Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
Magic Our Way.
The Magic Our Way podcast. They are truly magical and whatnot.
Asante Sana, everyone. You're listening to the Magic Our Way podcast from New Orleans, Louisiana. And on this show, we invite you to feel the libations.
Feel it. Feel it.
We are artistic buffs and not artistic cream puffs. This is the show in which every opinion is welcome. MagicOurWay.com is where you can find us. For this show, we unpack the announcements from the 2024 D23 Experiences Showcase, the Horizons thing. You know what I'm talking about. And look, this isn't your typical polished practice Pixie Dust and Disney podcast. No way. We are not on a Disney cruise often enough to let you know about the Plaza de Coco Ofrenda on Disney Treasures cruise ship.
That's right, Kev. We're just here to drink, talk some Disney, and fill you with all the D23.
You listeners have the easy part. All you guys have to do is to listen up to what we think up while we drink up.
My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
I'm Eli.
And Rachel will join us in the hub in just a little bit. But we do have a special guest. Special guest, who are you?
I don't know, but I'm going to make a name for myself here today.
That naturally came out of your orifice.
Is that Channing Tatum?
I know.
No, not even a little bit. Not even just a little bit.
It's Channing Tatum.
Yeah, you close your eyes, you can hear it.
You just make sure you tell people what happened here today.
And boom. Yeah. I mean, I got to tell you, it's just an aside. I watched Deadpool and Wolverine again this past weekend. And he did a better job with that accent than the dude that does the X-Men 97.
Oh, really?
Oh.
I don't know what accent that dude's trying to do.
I don't see. Yeah.
It doesn't work. Yeah. Jan Tatum did a good job. And anyway, look.
It's good.
The easiest way to support us is to book a vacation with Rachel, and a little piece of that comes back to support us. Also, the second easiest way is to leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and or wherever you access our show. Also, make sure you like and subscribe as well as turn on notifications so you never miss an episode of the Magic Our Way podcast. Also, we definitely want to take a second and thank our Patreon supporters for all that you do for us. We definitely appreciate your funding as it helps to do this particular episode. And before we get into it, just real quick. And real quick, I just want to do this little promo, especially because we have Kirk on air who helps manage all the personnel piece of our fantasy football leagues. But that's right, it is August, and we're rapidly approaching when our drafts for the weekend fantasy football leagues will take place, which is pretty much when everybody else is going to do their drafts. So yeah, that date is coming, and the NFL season soon to start. And if you're interested, it's only a $20 buy-in for the pot. It just helps keep it a little interesting, and it's not a big, huge financial commitment. If you want to get in touch with us, reach out to Kirk. Kirk, how can they get in touch with you, man?
Well, I just sent out a Facebook message to all the people who were in the league last year. So if anybody else wants to be in, just reach out to us in the group or if we're friends on Facebook. Send me a message.
Yep, absolutely. And I do tag Kirk. He's Holiday on a lot of the social media platforms. So that is Kirk. So if you catch us on Instagram as well as Twitter, just tag that and then send him a message somehow and you can join the league for sure. But you do get a private Facebook group, and there is also a live draft with us in the room via Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Get in touch with us, show at magicourway.com, or you can get in touch with Kirk. Either way works, but it should be a lot of fun this season. So, all right, y'all, enough of our jibber jabber. Let's go discuss the D23 news to see what's on the horizon for the Disney parks. Here we are on the hub, the main topic segment of our show. And the main topic that we are discussing for this episode is, of course, the 2024 D23 Expo, which just took place are actually currently taking place. It's still taking place. Like right now when we're recording this on Sunday, August 11th,
Yeah.
at 7 p.m. Central, they got the Disney Legends thing that's about to fire up in a couple hours, Pacific time, of course. And so that they're going to wrap this whole thing up. But previous nights, on Friday night, they had their entertainment showcase. And then last night, which is going to be the main focus of this episode, it was the experiences showcase that took place with Josh D'Amaro and gang, talking about all the different Disney experiences people can experience throughout the world, take part in. We're talking about the Disney parks, cruise line, and international parks, all the things, even online video gaming, like Fortnite and stuff, those kinds of experiences. But to further focus this, because we could be here all night talking about things, we're going to dedicate this thing first and foremost to the stuff that we are definitely most interested in. Because number one, you can book a vacation with Rachel to visit any of these places, but we're looking at we're looking at the domestic parks, specifically Walt Disney World and Disneyland. And a future show, we could address all the other stuff like the Fortnite things, or if you want to get into that, or even the the international parks, which maybe we'll want to get into that. Could be interesting.
Yeah.
And then also the entertainment stuff that they were talking about that's there. So yeah. We're just going to jump right into it. We're going to start, of course, with the park that's closest to a lot of us, and that's Walt Disney World, our home park, as what we call it, and go through all the different things that they had mentioned. So I have a handy little spreadsheet here, and I'm going to filter for Walt Disney World and filter everything else out. And then what we'll do is I would like to talk about the things that have a year or a date addressed to it, some kind of timeline.
Well, that's a good idea.
And then at the end, we'll talk about the things that, interesting enough, we're not given one. They didn't name the baby in that. Yeah.
Yes. They learned from last year, and everything that they said, they are actually planning on doing.
Yep,
Dirt is moving.
They led the whole presentation. Tomorrow said this is not blue sky stuff. This is stuff that's in active development. But we'll talk about the stuff when we get the stuff that doesn't have dates when we get to it.
Developmental stages may vary.
Yes, that's right. So until they name the baby, I'm being skeptical about that. So Walt Disney World, we had a few things that were named, and so we'll start with the things that are opening closest. First of all, we got let's see, in 2025, we got a couple different things here. Over at the Magic Kingdom, we have Disney Starlight, which will be the nighttime spectacular parade that you can check out at that park. So, Rachel, you got your parade.
Yeah, I did. I'm really excited about it. I haven't gotten to watch any video from yesterday's announcements. I don't know. Did you guys get to watch any video from this particular topic, Starlight?
All I saw on that was that the Blue Fairy kind of kicks the whole thing off.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if we got like a song or anything from it yet. Haven't seen anything. It's tough. Well, I guess like one thing we could talk about here at the top is that normally they live stream this and they didn't do that this time.
Right.
And so it was hard to see and take in as much of the announcements as we usually do. So that's why I'm asking, like, hey, did you guys see any of this? Because it's hard to figure it out online. But yeah, I read a bunch of news articles about the announcements, and the Starlight Parade looks really fun. I love that it's the Blue Fairy. I feel like she doesn't get a lot of play in the parks at all.
Agreed.
So I'm excited for that. I hope they have an awesome song. Because for me, like how much I like a parade is often about the song. But they also had some concept art of the float with the Madrigal sisters with Encanto.
Yeah.
And I thought that looked really beautiful and awesome. So I'm excited. The last parade they made, I don't think I'm wrong. The last one they did was Magic Happens at Disneyland. And the floats for Magic Happens are stunning. Just visually stunning. So I'm excited to see what they can do with the nighttime version of that kind of artwork.
Yeah, I hope so, because like the nighttime benchmark for me is Paint the Night, which obviously I'm not getting anytime in the near future. Technological wise, the use of the lighting, the type of lighting, fiber optics, all that kind of stuff was really next level. And I know the parade that you're talking about, Rachel, they did that in Disneyland. That is a daytime parade, but I'm hoping they bring that same kind of attention to detail and just like technological prowess to a nighttime showing of something. I just hope it's on the level of Paint the Night, if not more, because that was, to me, like I said, Paint the Night was like next level stuff.
I mean, I'm sure we're going to say this a lot, but just based on the concept art, I thought it looked awesome. but concept art isn't necessarily what becomes true.
Yeah,
That's very true.
especially with Disney.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest parade fan in the world, but Magic Kingdom needs a parade, and this looks amazing. So I'm happy to see it announced.
Yeah, this will be great because it definitely needed for sure.
Mhm.
All right, and staying in Magic Kingdom while we're there with a couple of things, we got a tavern, the Pirates of the Caribbean themed tavern that's supposed to open in 2025 as well. How about that?
Yeah, happy to see this.
I will say about damn time, just like Lizzo says.
Mhm.
It's about damn time. That's right. That's right.
Absolutely. No, the more alcohol we can get in the Magic Kingdom, the better.
That's right.
It's time to get rid of that silly no alcohol in Magic Kingdom rule, even though I know they do serve alcohol, and just let it flow. I mean, it's 2024.
Let it flow.
What
let
about
it
what
flow.
Walt would have wanted, Kirk?
You know what? The man died over 50 years ago. What he would want in 2024, none of us know. And honestly, anybody who's going to say this is what Walt would want, just shut up. You don't know. I'm sorry. I'm tired of hearing that damn argument. Danny, I knew you were joking about it, but you know.
Well, not to be mean, he probably want a cigarette too.
Yeah, I think you would want a drink.
Yeah, you want a cigarette.
He want a cigarette. That's
I was
for
going to
sure.
say, did I touch on a nerve here?
It sounds like you did.
Wow.
Let it go. Let it go.
I'm tired of reading that damn argument. Well, this is not what Walt would want. Really? Are you a seance person? Can you talk to the dead?
Oh, no.
Just shut up because you don't know.
You know, you
Oh,
ask that
no.
around here, that you might get a yes.
Yeah.
You got to be careful where you ask that question.
True.
Yeah. So, really, sticking in the lounge theme, man, let's go over to Epcot. We're getting ourselves a Spaceship Earth inspired lounge.
Wow, yeah,
How
I'm
about
kind of
that?
surprised by this.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I remember
Definitely.
being there when Fish Sean Wu got us in there,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a lot of fun.
The
being
Siemens Lounge, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That was a lot of fun. It was a great view. You're going to have a great view of
World
whatever the fireworks
something.
are now.
Yeah, yeah.
What are the fireworks now, Rachel?
Luminous.
Luminous.
Yes, that is going to be a great space to watch it. I got to imagine it's going to be hard to get in there.
I got to
But
think so.
That's wonderful. I like to see that. And it kind of reminds me of how they were supposed to have that parade watching area that never came to be. I guess this will be it.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, it'd be nice to see how they develop it out. A lot of people aren't exactly sure where this lounge is, but it's on the second floor above Project Tomorrow.
Exactly. Facing out towards the lagoon.
You'll see some windows. If you go out to the back, you'll see windows above where you were because you know Project Tomorrow has 0 windows, but you'll see some windows. That's where the lounge was.
I smell a fireworks party at Epcot coming soon.
Oh,
Oh, for sure.
Wow.
I have come to love the lounges at Walt Disney World,
Yep.
like throughout the whole place. And so when we're talking about these 2 new lounges, I have some like pretty high expectations. Nomad Lounge is one of the most recent Disney operated lounges that has opened, and Nomad Lounge is incredible
absolutely.
in Animal Kingdom, if folks don't know what I'm talking about. But the drinks are fantastic. I mean, you pay for them, they're expensive, but they're really good. It's not like you're paying $20 for a crappy cocktail.
Mm-hmm.
The food is really good. The atmosphere is great. The servers are all excellent. Like, I've never had bad service there. Everybody is just top notch. And so that's kind of what I'm expecting out of these, except especially for the Pirates one. Like, I'm expecting Nomad Lounge, but completely immersive theming. So those servers are like top notch awesome, but they're also pirates.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be completely immersed in the atmosphere, kind of like a Trader Sam's. Like,
Mhm.
I would love it to have that kind of like interactivity, and the cocktails are great and great light bites, and the servers are all having a blast. And I hope that this isn't Ohana. And it's not that I don't love Ohana, but it's just like Disney knows that people love it. And so they just churn people through there. Or, you know what? A better example, I'm sorry, is Oga's Cantina.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Oh,
hope
yeah.
it's not Oga's Cantina.
Mhm.
Oga's Cantina is a bunch of overpriced, junky tap cocktails that are not handmade, and the food is nothing.
Right.
I mean, it's essentially nothing, but also like definitely not good. The servers are all completely stressed out and rushed, and they don't have a lot of fun with you. I've been there, I mean, probably 10 times, and I think I've had one experience where the server was excellent and we had a great time, and he was like totally in the character, and that was great. But other than that, that's really hard to come by there. And so if this is an Oga's Cantina, I'm not excited at all. If it's a Nomad Lounge, but Pirates and in the Magic Kingdom, I think it will be a hit.
Excellently said.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Sure.
I mean, give me the Coyote Ugly of pirates. You know? Let's make it crazy.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
They don't serve water, only rum.
To me, the handcrafted cocktails are it. If you're mixing me a cocktail, I'm excited.
Yeah.
If it's just poured out of a big vat like they do at Oga's, like pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, they went with that mass-produced cocktail drinks.
And she's not kidding about the servers over at Oga's. I'll never forget going there for the first time and trying to engage with them. Like, where's Oga? She ain't here.
She ain't here.
That's it. Okay.
No,
All right.
Oga no here.
No story to it. Okay.
Yeah.
And I always think when I say stuff like that, like, oh, geez, maybe there's a cast member that'll like listen to this and they work at Oga's and make them. I don't want them to feel bad, but I'm sure there are great cast members there. I have had one, but that was just once.
We don't get paid enough for that, Rachel. You don't pay us
maybe
enough.
not. You know, I'm tipping pretty well on those overpriced drinks. So.
And you're standing the entire time.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
because that's one thing I like most about this part. It's like, look at the table. Look how huge there's chairs. You can sit down. This is awesome.
You gotta sit down.
Like the only people I see standing are at the bar. Everyone's
Or
sitting
on the bar, yeah.
Yeah,
They got that pirate on the bar, yeah.
This perfect. That's exactly what. Imagine
Seating.
that. Sitting
Seating's
down.
great. I mean, air-conditioned seating and have a drink. That's exactly what you want.
Our experiences at Oga's might be better if we weren't miserable from standing the entire time.
Well, it reminds me,
kidding.
you know, the lounge the Enchanted Rose Lounge in the Grand Floridian's very nice setup.
Yeah.
Oh, I
that's
love the
fantastic.
Enchanted
Yeah,
Rose.
Beautiful,
absolutely.
large space, good drinks.
I like Meisner's, but I'm sorry, I'm one of the few who like Enchanted Rose a little bit better, I guess.
They did good. They did good with that one, yeah.
It's got room. That's important.
All right, so staying in Epcot, also in 2025, we can expect a reimagined test track to open.
Thank God.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to this one. I
Yes.
want to see what they
Yay.
do. Yeah.
I'm excited about it too.
Yeah. Sounds like we're moving back to kind of a world of motion kind of concept. And so the test track era is done. And so I'm curious to see what kind of stuff they put into there because, you know, I hope it's a little bit of edutainment because I do miss that kind of stuff.
Well, that
you
could
know?
be fun edutainment if done right.
I just hope they let you design a car still. They probably won't, but that is my son's favorite part of probably all of Walt Disney World is designing that car. The rest of the attraction, I don't think he really cares about that much, but he loves making the car. So
They could have it in the after show.
maybe. Anyway, so that's my hope. But yeah, I'm excited to have this rethemed and I feel like it's way overdue.
Well, it says the queue will feature 6 distinct exhibits, and within each room, celebrate the vehicles and people behind the vehicles that push the envelope and help get people to our next chapter in our motion journey. So it doesn't sound like you'll be designing vehicles, but I bet you there's some app out there that you can download for him where he can design his own car.
We'll do it in line. Yeah.
You know, that would be a great, like,
Yeah.
when you exit, they have a gift shop right there. Why can't you design your own car? They print it out and it's like a Matchbox car.
That's what I
kind of
always thought. I didn't want that driver's license. I'd rather that.
My kid would love that.
Dude, I would love that because I made it a point to make the ugliest car ever every time I go through there.
Get a 3D printer or something.
Yeah.
So, going over to Animal Kingdom, Kirk's favorite park. Oh, Rachel's favorite park. Sorry. We got Zootopia Better Zoogether experience moving into the Tree of Life, set to open winter 2025 specifically.
I'm already groaning at the title. Like, I didn't want this to begin with. I mean, it just doesn't seem to fit. Like, you're under a tree. Why shouldn't insects and bugs be under there? Why are we doing this? It just doesn't seem a good
IP,
fit.
current IP that people care about, Daniel.
It's a bug's life. It's still IP. I'm
we
sorry.
just live in it.
Yep.
You're putting too much thought on theming and story, okay? Get away from that. That's what Walt would want. That's the thing.
You hypocrite, you.
Yeah, next year, man. The end of next year, we're supposed to get this. All right, so
Can't
so nothing in Walt Disney World for 2026, but 2 years later in 2027, we got a whole area that's coming online. So of course, I'm talking about Tropical Americas, and within Tropical Americas is going to take over that whole Dinoland USA area, with including Dinosaur and all that kind of stuff. Much to my chagrin, I did like Dinosaur.
Yeah.
I did like Wallace Lingham and Felicia Rashad, of course, but I'll miss that. I'll miss the mustard, ketchup, and mayo, but it's okay. All in the name of progress.
I don't know if that's progress. I think that's going backwards.
Yeah, they're making Tropical Americas. That's the
Tropical.
area where they're doing, which is going to have a couple of attractions. And when people enter, one of the things they're going to enter is called the Pueblo Esperanza, also opening in 2027, right? And then in addition to that, as I mentioned, we're getting a replacement for the dinosaur ride. And that is some kind of Indiana Jones ride. There's no title that was named, but we do know it's an Indiana Jones ride. And that's opening at the same time. And the description says, and I quote, "In this new venture, the man with a hat has recently discovered a perfectly preserved Maya temple. And that can only mean one thing. It's time to explore it." And so basically, Indiana Jones has heard rumors about mythical creature deep within the temple, and he's got to see it for himself. So he brings us along for the adventure, but will there be snakes? We'll just have to wait and see. So that's the attraction coming along to replace Dinosaur.
Yeah, not a fan of this at all. And not a fan of it even more after hearing that description.
Is it the same ride, just reskinned with a different Indiana Jones thing?
I gotta think so, yeah.
I think it'll be similar to like Maelstrom was, and then they just re-skinned it to Frozen.
They're just forcing the IP. It's like Indiana Jones goes after artifacts, not mythical animals. This is so stupid. What is this?
There's your mythical animals.
Indiana Jones is chasing after the mythical heffalump.
Yeah.
Like,
And Wizzles.
Yeah.
That would be better, actually, I think.
Come on, man. Like,
The
this is
egg
not
of
Indiana Jones.
Nope.
The only pass I will give him is if, because Ki-Hu Kwan was there and introduced
Yes.
this. And so if Short Round returns as adult Short Round, I would be happy because I did love Short Round.
Short Round was pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
From
Yeah.
the second movie, yes. Temple of Doom. Awesome stuff. Okay, also in this area, Tropical Americas, we get an unnamed Encanto attraction. And this attraction will take guests into the Madrigal family's home on a journey to visit their rooms and perhaps run into their favorite characters. It takes place inside the casino on the day after young Antonio receives his gift of communicating with animals. So we get to explore that particular piece.
Once again, a tangential relationship to the theming of the actual park itself, but slightly more excited about this one.
Yeah, I'm a little more excited about this one myself.
I like how you get to ride the furniture through it. That's pretty cool. The ride vehicles are the furniture.
That's I think that's brilliant.
I think that is brilliant.
You got a Doom buggy, give me the furniture. Make the house move me around it.
Yeah. While wrestling at the same time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, Kevin, this Pablo Escobar place you enter into.
No!
That's you enter into there, but didn't they have like two different entrances to?
Well, that's where you make the cocaine.
yeah,
That's where the real money that's funding Disney is coming from.
that
Where's
one
the
we came in
Yankees?
through Asia, and that other one came from what the
From
In the front?
Yeah, the
Yes,
island.
from the Oasis?
Yeah. Pueblo Esperanza is where they
From
enter.
Discovery Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Discovery,
that
thank
place.
you. Discovery Island, yeah. Yeah, but you're talking about Pueblo Esperanza.
Yeah, that place.
The
What I
the
said.
first thing. You said Pablo Escobar.
Oh, well, same difference. Same difference.
Same
Same
So
initials,
it's
sure.
gonna take up the whole thing. Oh, they're gonna close off one of those entrances. I can't see them doing that.
No, I think it's going to
Oh.
spread around to both entrances. Easily.
Oh, then they can call it Pablo Escobar instead of getting rid of the boneyard. We can dig through cocaine.
Good Lord.
These are all my fallen enemies here at the boneyard.
And then the kids have to hop in a plane and fly it out. Right?
Hurry
Is that
up.
what
Get
you're
him
saying?
on it. Yeah.
All right, so those are the only things the baby has been named. They got a year attached to it.
And we're kind of speeding through this because we've kind of also commented on most of these because we all knew this was on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is things that we've already heard of, and it's very rare that we get into things that we haven't heard of coming down the pipe. Like the parade. The parade was new for me. I hadn't heard of that, so I'm glad to hear that. But here are things that have not been given a year. So for me, I'm a little skeptical. Even though Josh Samar says these aren't blue sky things, but until you name that baby, until you commit, yes, we're going to open it, I got to be a little skeptical.
It don't
That's how I'm
exist.
approaching. Yeah, it may or may not happen until you name that baby.
I'm camping this weekend if my audio sounds different, everybody. And I was just talking with some of my friends about these announcements. And one of my friends is like, oh, when is the Cars Land thing happening? I want to know. We're about to talk about that. But I said, well, there's no date yet. And she was like, well, so what do you think then? Like 2026, 2027? I was like, no, if there's no date, we're probably talking 2028 and beyond.
Yep. That's a safe guess.
I think that is pretty fair. Yeah.
Absolutely. If it even comes to fruition, who knows? These quarterly earnings may freak them out and not build anything.
Damn.
But let's start with one really interesting one back at Magic Kingdom. Could be controversial, could be quizzical, could be whatever. I don't know what you guys think, but we're talking about the Cars attractions that are supposed to be placed in Frontierland. So we'll call this one Cars Attraction Number 1 because there really wasn't a name for it. But in this particular attraction, this is more of a thrilling ride. It will be an off-road thrilling rally race through the mountains. Disney Parks wrote that you'll be able to, and I quote, take on wild terrain as you race across the landscape, climbing mountain trails, dodging geysers, and Mater's favorite, splashing through mud holes. Hey, hey! So that's the, I guess, e-ticket, so to speak, attraction that's slated to come to Frontierland as Cars Attraction Number 1. What do we feel about that?
Does anybody else think this might be a re-theme of Big Thunder?
No.
No, they're going to use that Radiator Springs Racers ride system.
That's what I was
just by looking at pictures and stuff. It's like they have that ride system already ready to go. They just duplicate it, ship it off to Florida. So they got to place this somewhere. I don't think they're going to take over Big Thunder.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to take over Big Thunder. I didn't get the impression it was a clone of Radiator Springs Racers. I thought it was more, there was like your off-road kind of thing. I can't remember how they.
Well, it's the same ride system, but you can just make it bumpy like Radiator Springs Racers, like they did when they added Test Track, all those bumps and stuff.
Okay, so it definitely is. Okay.
If I was a betting man, I would bet they're going to use the exact same track layout. Maybe they flip it like they did with Big Thunder, but they can still produce that pretty easily because the plan's already made. They don't have to develop it.
Okay.
Then they just got to make the theming, maybe throw some more off-road bumps, some dirt cannons and stuff, or mud, just to kind of simulate going through stuff.
Add extra stuff in the background, maybe.
Yeah, because I remember it was one of the Cars movies. I think it was the second one. They did like a off-road. They had that off-road rally car from like Japan, which I thought was cool. He was just zipping through the track, bouncing and stuff. So I'm hoping there's gonna be some bouncing, like you win those rally races, which is like nuts.
We're gonna be like 62 by the time this comes out, right? So I don't know how much we can take, but okay,
it's true.
It's definitely not a retheming, I don't think, at least, of Big Thunder, because the quote, I don't have the quote in front of me, but Josh D'Amaro said something specific about Frontierland, that it's really all about the American West.
I got it here.
To me, oh, you have the quote. Okay.
Yeah, because it struck me the exact same way, so I made sure to copy it down because this is their explanation for the bastardization of Frontierland.
Yeah.
The American West has always been about keeping your eyes on the horizon, believing in yourself, carving your own path, and striving toward success. That goes for miners in the mountains, bears from the country, a princess from the bayou, or a race car from the big city.
Yeah. So there's a couple things in that. First of all, yuck. But second,
very much.
To me, it says that Big Thunder is staying because he specifically put miners in the mountains in the quote. But you know what else struck me? Do you all consider yourselves a Western state?
Not
in the least.
Because I was like, boy, I would not consider New Orleans West.
No.
I mean, it's west of New Hampshire, but that's pretty easy.
I mean, if you're thinking like archaic terms, maybe west of the Mississippi, but that's about it. Even still, I don't feel like we're the West.
No, we're not the West.
I need to go back and listen to our show a few months ago talking about Tiana, because I brought up this exact same argument that Rachel's bringing up, and she said, "No, that's not y'all the Western state because y'all west of Mississippi."
Wow, Kirk. Kirk's got receipts, Rachel.
I brought up that exact same argument, saying, in our collective thoughts and everything, we think of Frontierland, we think of the Wild West. And I said, they're thinking of the West as west of the Mississippi. And Rachel's like, well, technically, yeah, would be west of Mississippi. Yeah, would be Frontierland, so it fits. Okay, no problem.
Is that your Rachel impression?
I'm sorry, Rachel. I did not mean to make fun of your voice.
No.
That's what I said.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
No offense.
I can imagine I said that. I just thought they were going to retheme this land entirely. Yeah. And so I think I was maybe like a little optimistic about like, well, it doesn't fit great right now, but I can sort of see the argument. And then in my head, I'm like, but they're really going to retheme the whole thing. And now that I know they're not, I'm like, okay, no, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I thought they were going to have a plan. Like, that's not a plan. But yeah, I hear you. I don't think New Orleans is west. But it was like the beginning of a lot of the trails west during Western movement in United States history. Like a lot of the trails began in New Orleans or in that area. But
no, that makes sense. Yeah,
it's not a Western state.
I mean, if you think about it, St. Louis has that Gateway Arch, which is the gateway to the west, which is a little bit west of us. If you're looking at it on a map, more or less, more north, but just a touch west. So we're on that border. We're a border city to the west.
I think this worked a lot better when we saw the old concept art and you saw Coco and Encanto, and it was kind of, all right, Frontierland is now going to be reimagined as going more southern, like southern Mexico kind of thing. And I can't remember.
And we thought New Orleans Square was going to come to
right. And for whatever reason, they just decided no, and so now they've messed up Frontierland and they've messed up Animal Kingdom thematically. Now, it's not to say both these locations can't be great, I'm just saying thematically, neither one of them really fit. They have a tangential relationship to the theming of the land at best that they're trying to force to happen. And this statement is awful. It really is awful. The American West has always been about bears from the country or princes from the... Just say it. This is all about IP. The American West has always been about keeping your eyes to the horizon, believing in yourself, and IP.
I always thought it was about golden territory.
Nope. You were mistaken. You like cartoon cars.
Oh.
The American West has always been about those things you just said, as long as we can squeeze IP into them.
Yes.
Squeeze IP.
That aside, I'm really excited for the rides. I think Cars is a great IP for kids and families. My kids love cars. We love cars. So I'm excited that it's coming. I feel like the theming is so weak. But the rides sound great.
Well, just to interrupt real quick, Rachel, since you said rides, I didn't mention it yet, but there is a second Cars attraction that's supposed to be more family friendly and geared more toward kids. You're going to have the E-ticket, and then you're going to have some kind of B-ticket and stuff, something like tame.
Spin a ride.
Like maybe
that's what
I was going to say or Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters is so fun.
Oh yeah.
That could be cool.
I want tractor tipping. Give me a ride like that.
And there's probably going to be a height requirement on the E-ticket. Test Track has a small height requirement. So it's always nice to have a family attraction outside. Some of those, we spent so many mornings where my daughter wanted to ride the Incredicoaster at California Adventure over and over and over again. And so I was so thankful for that Woody's Roundup carousel, because I would take my son over to that and we would just have fun right there. So it's nice to have those.
Yeah.
Now, does all this take the place of that Beyond Big Thunder we heard last year?
Yeah.
Or that's still on the table?
Yes.
I mean, where else do you put it?
Yeah, this is part of that.
A ride that is I brought up the idea that maybe they're going to trash Tom Sawyer Island.
No, that's
for this. That has enough real estate to cover a Radiator Springs Racer type ride.
That's what the rumor is right now. Yeah, it's that you're going to go beyond Big Thunder Mountain, plus with the Villains Land taking over the other. I don't like this. I don't like it at all.
Well, they're squeezing IP.
Yeah,
the Cars thing?
Yeah,
I don't. Cars just seems to be an overused IP to me. It just. I'm so.
But it brings in the money. Yeah, of course they're going to use it.
It's safe, and we can make it really quick with everything going on.
But the landscape will be very cool, and it will be very Western.
Sure.
The landscape.
It'll be off-roading like a Chevy commercial.
Can wear chaps.
It just comes across as though they've turned Frontierland into a rural fantasy land. It's like Frontierland is now Fantasyland.
Country
version.
Country version.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You got medieval Fantasyland over here.
Fair.
And you got country Fantasyland right here.
Yeah.
Country
I guess
Fantasyland.
do we hate that though?
I
listen, I don't like the Frontierland excuse, but I also think if the theme of Magic Kingdom is these are various lands, but fantasy versions of them. So Tomorrowland isn't really space, it's a fantasy version of it. Main Street USA isn't really a town, it's a fantasy version of it. I do kind of like that idea that all of these spaces are different themed fantasy versions of life. I'm okay with that.
I can see that to an extent. I guess another problem I have with that though is that so we have another racing attraction. I mean, isn't Tomorrowland Speedway right up the way?
It's not fast enough.
How many racing things do we need? And then we got Radiator Springs Racers back over in Disneyland. I just don't feel like racing anymore. I'm sorry, I'm raced out.
I think I'm gonna just go home.
Yeah. I would have liked my shoot gallery back though.
And I like the idea of there being a fantasy element to each of these lands, but I don't like it to be all nonsense. None of it really fits. But I do think that this is going above and beyond. This is just seeming like a mishmash of different things just for the purpose of getting it in there.
You know what it is? You know what you want? Bam. Let's just see what happens.
Well, Iger did say IP is going to be used going forward. So and they're kidding.
And I'm fine with that as long as they would have made it make some level of sense to Rachel's overall point, which is if you would have done the original concept and put Coco and put Encanto over there with Big Thunder Mountain and make that the new Frontierland, that would have been perfect. It would have all made sense. And then put Moana over there in Animal Kingdom and have the Sea of Monsters. And all that would have worked out well because all that had things and elements that made sense.
I mean, unless they could put rifles in your hands while you're in the cars, I think I would be on board. That.
Eli, they call it the New Orleans I-10 experience. You don't need that.
Hey, that's about as Western as we get.
But since you brought it up, Danny, the other thing that's happening in Magic Kingdom that hasn't been named as far as a year, and which a lot of they ended the presentation with this particular announcement, and a lot of Disney fan sites have just gone crazy about it. But it is Villains Land. As Eli, it met your expectation you wanted.
Yes.
Villains Land is set to come. It's supposed to have 2 major attractions, dining, shopping, and so much more. And with all these villains in one place, I quote, happily ever after may feel like just a distant dream.
I'm really excited for this. Like, that's it. I'm really excited for it. It feels like it's very far away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like it was so vague. It was so vague. It was like I know he says it's not blue sky, but it felt a little blue sky.
Oh, it's definitely blue skies.
Oh, yeah.
They only show that one piece of concept art. So it feels like they're very much still in the conceptual phase of this one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, big time.
Which is weird because this has been a long-standing rumor. You know, this has been worked up a few different ways.
Yeah, but now the IP is back. So when you pull out villains, that's like a huge put down.
Yeah. Look, I'm happy. I think I would have liked to have seen this as its own park because that's how it was rumored for the longest time. Like if they were going to do a 5th gate, I think there was enough there where you could have done this as a 5th gate. But I did love the concept art. I like that they seem to be leaning into this being a place of evil instead of being something campy and goofy. You know, it makes me wonder if Dark Universe had some kind of an influence on this.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Right.
want to choose.
It's not
that.
campy at all.
No.
But unlike Dark Universe, Dark Universe has an opening date. This one does not. So as excited as I am,
So evil, isn't it?
it is. As excited as I am, I'm still gonna be mad about this until they actually name the baby. If you give me like this is when it's gonna freaking open, then I'll be excited about it. But I'm saying you're not gonna hurt me anymore. I'm sorry, Disney.
Oh,
It's not gonna hurt me anymore.
I didn't know you were hurt like that.
No,
I mean,
it's just the past years. Like I'm tired of them throwing things up, nonsense on a napkin, just throwing things on the board. Let's see if the stuff actually happens. We've been talking about Villains End for how long, and now they finally bring it up, and everybody's blown up, all excited about it. It's like, come on, man.
well, it's gonna take.
Can we at least wait till they give a year or something?
Well, they
before we
need
blow it
to
up?
build it right.
Yeah.
They need to know what likes what, who likes who.
Yeah.
So it's just a gauge.
Yeah, I was going to say real quick that Emmy sent me this, and she is very excited about Villains Land. She said that she would really like the Horn King's Castle to be like a pub or something in the parks where they serve real and non-alcoholic mead. And like there can be performances and moments where the lights flicker and there's a cauldron in there and it glows and stuff, and you can hear the Horn King's voice. So she's going all in on the Horn King. She wants to see him in there.
The Horned King.
The Horn King from the Black Cauldron.
Yeah, I know what it's from, but like, wow, that's a deep take.
Oh, Emmy's
That's a
knows
deep
her
cut.
Disney
Deep
history.
cut.
Man, yeah.
She's into those old style movies, and the Horn King would be a great one. I also saw somebody saying that they saw Chernobog's Mountain in there. I saw one that looked kind of similar.
Yeah.
How cool would that be?
That'd
If,
be very cool.
kind of like Gringotts has that giant dragon up top. If you had a Chernobog that every once in a while opened his wings and closed them back up again, that would be pretty
I'm
cool.
just gonna say shoot fire.
And definitely, yeah, he could do that.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I'm really excited for the snacks. And I am envisioning like a lot of really fun desserts. Like you got to have a poison apple.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I want to walk around Villains Land with this like wild candy apple that's this poison apple on a stick. Like, sounds great.
That's fair.
I'm excited for that.
Well,
I feel like they're going to have like a bunch of those like sweet, like LeFou's brew, you know what I mean? Like sweet kind of frozen stuff. Just a lot of junk food. That's what I'm looking forward to there.
But I am, and I quote, I want to know what these magic potions that can ruin your whole day are about.
Oh no.
I mean, are these going to be like seriously crafted drinks? I'll be like, yes, Villains Land. Bring it.
Yes, I bet.
Bring it, Villains
Let's
Land.
go.
What do you think the over under is on this? Let's say if I said 2031, would you take the over or the under on when this is finished?
Finish.
2031.
2031
It's only 6
is
years.
This is
7 years.
7 years.
I go for over.
You're going to go with the over. Kirk's going over. He's playing up.
I'm
up.
under.
Rachel's going under. Kev?
What is it when it's like you think it's right at 2031? It's not over under.
Push. That's what they call it.
Push. A push. Yeah, push.
I was thinking he's saying 2031 is when it's done. Right?
Yeah.
2031 would be the mark of when it opens. Right.
yeah.
Okay.
So would you go
So if I want to take
above
yeah.
or under? Kevin, you're just saying you're gonna take.
I'll take the 2031.
2031.
Yeah, I think that might be a good guess.
I'm gonna go Rachel on this one and take the under. I think
Nice.
with Epic Universe coming, they're gonna get this going pretty quickly.
2029. That's my guess.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2030, but 2029, I hope you're right.
$1,
Quicker
Bob.
the better.
$1.
I don't know.
I don't want to be collecting Social Security by the time this thing opens.
That's what I'm thinking is going to happen.
Mhm.
No. I think about my kids, like not this one as much because I think villains will appeal to them even when they're older.
Mm-hmm.
But like the Encanto attraction and stuff, if we're talking about 2027, if my daughter's going to be in high school.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You'll be like,
Bummer.
baby, you want to go to Disney World? No, Mom, I want to go to Hawaii.
Like,
I know, for real.
I want to go on a date.
I want to go to Fort Lauderdale.
hey, I want to drive in your car without you in it.
Spring break, bye.
That's
Woo!
right. That's right.
Down.
All right. So let's move from the Magic Kingdom over to Hollywood Studios to another maybe controversial kind of very people have opinions on this one. And that is the Monsters Inc. land coming to Hollywood Studios. And here, guests will be able to visit Monstropolis and enjoy Disney's first ever suspended roller coaster that will make our dream of flying among the doors a reality, which is something Josh Jamara said when he first saw Monsters Inc. And I quote, "All I wanted to do was ride on those doors like Mike and Sully.
Mhm.
The most glorious rainbow ever, of course." So yeah, that's what you're gonna have. It's gonna be the first suspended coaster. They're going to reenact the thing where the claws come and grab the doors and hoist them up onto the track into the air and take them away. That's what they're going to recreate. So I'm curious to see how they do this particular ride system and how they pull that effect off. But that is coming to Monsters Inc. land. And the thing that's getting a lot of the Disney fan universe, and we probably will bring this up in discussion, is where are they putting it?
Yeah.
What is going away to make room for this?
This to me was the best thing announced for Disney World at D23. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the idea of Villains Land. It can be amazing, but we all suspected that was coming. This one I did not see coming.
No,
Yeah.
total surprise.
That was new.
Oh, yeah. I was really, really surprised by this one because this rumor has been out there for about 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
This door coaster has been out there. Jim Hill was talking about it back in 2008-ish, I believe.
Good Lord.
So, yeah, the first ever suspended coaster at a Disney park. And it just seems so perfect because unlike Tiana in a mountain, this ride actually fits the IP. It makes sense that you would be experiencing the door coaster. It just makes for a natural coaster ride. So that's awesome. I'm almost kind of glad that they waited because now we're getting a whole land on it as opposed to just getting that one little coaster ride.
Mm-hmm.
And drum roll, you can see Harryhausen's.
There you go.
Harryhausen's, yeah.
She just touched on it. That's it. That's when I really popped. I was like, where's the eyeball? Where's the eyeball? Where's the eyeball? And sure enough, when I saw that, I was like, this is the greatest thing. So I'm ecstatic about this. I like the idea of going to Cars Land. I like Radiator Springs races, but I never thought about wanting to visit it. I never cared about walking around and seeing where Mater's shop was or anything like that. But Monstropolis, absolutely. I mean, that's a place instinctively you're like, oh, that'd be so cool to show up there. I mean, so many opportunities for cool visuals, psych acts, all that. So, and Harryhausen's, that just puts it over the top for me. So yeah, this is going to be awesome. I can't wait.
And so here's where the controversy goes. And so people are thinking, could it be Animation Courtyard or could it be Muppets area? And a lot of people are leaning towards the Muppets area. We're going to be losing that for this.
I remember when Jim Hill first started talking about it years ago, it was the Animation Courtyard behind there. And honestly, that makes the only place that makes sense to me because not that I'm just in love with Muppets. That's not much space there. Behind Animation Courtyard, you got all that space.
I agree.
Even if they got to take away Rock and Roller Coaster, which I don't think they would because Aerosmith's just retired, but that's a lot of space.
You know, Emmy did some detective work on this and she sent me this over where the concept art shows a water tower and these buildings. And she points out that it looks suspiciously like that water tower over there by Muppets and then the surrounding buildings by it. Not exactly, it doesn't match up perfectly, but she was pointing that out. And she also says like, yeah, I hear a lot about Animation Courtyard, but they're doing that
The Little
Mermaid show. So if they were doing that, why are they opening that, but they're making this? So those are good points that we made.
Yeah, but Star Wars Launch Bay is useless now.
Exactly.
So there doesn't need to have that much space dedicated to that.
Yeah.
IP be damned, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you could have Little Mermaid right next to all this.
Mhm.
Apparently that's what they're doing with a lot of other IP stuff.
True.
They're shoving things. So just wherever they put that door, Monstropolis just lives right by the sea, I guess. I don't know.
And it makes sense to have Monsters Inc. land or whatever they want to call it right next to Toy Story Land because now you're building that whole Pixar. That whole area was Pixar place at one point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So you can put various different Pixar franchises back there if you wanted to.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of potential.
Yeah, I agree. I think logic would say that it's going to be, I don't think they'll get rid of Animation Courtyard. I think they would get rid of Launch Bay and build it back there because there are more expansion pads back there.
Oh, good.
But I do agree with Emmy that the concept art looks like Grand Avenue and Muppets.
Mm-hmm.
Like those buildings. Like I know exactly what she's talking about. When I looked at the concept art, I was like, oh, that's Muppets Courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think visually it looks like Muppets Courtyard, but logically I think it makes way more sense over by animation.
Yeah, I just don't know where you're getting all that space from in Muppets Courtyard. I mean, it's just not a whole lot of space, right?
Yeah, so there's that. But I mean, if you look at, I'm looking at one of the concept art things here, but if you look at the entrance to the big factory, that front facade piece looks awfully like the Animation Courtyard stuff, you know, the exact same kind of awning, they just have to build out that big tall building right behind it to house the attraction, and then refacade the Disney Junior thing. They could easily do make it look like those buildings, and that has a lot of space up in there they could do. And then I guess right next to Harryhausen's is Little Mermaid. I don't know. It's definitely a possibility, but you hate to see it mentioned in Muppets because you'd be losing that attraction, which is a crowd gobbler, so to speak, and then you're losing 2 restaurants, you know, not the greatest restaurants, but I mean, the Mama Melrose has been there forever. Yeah. And then, you know, you have a quick service kind of pizza thing. So it'd be a shame to lose all of that.
I was going to say, what about Star Tours? I mean, could that go?
I did read someone say that they've been talking about a Muppet redoing that whole space, including Star Tours, and getting rid of that.
That could be a possibility. But to your point, Kevin, I agree in the sense that, you don't lose anything going after Animation Courtyard. You really, I mean, if you got rid of Indiana Jones and that huge amphitheater over there, I don't think you lose anything over there. Where you would do putting Indiana Jones in Animal Kingdom, right? Whereas I think you lose Muppet, you lose Star Tours, you lose, you know, two attractions that are repeatable. Whereas Indiana Jones, you see it once, you've seen it.
Just one.
Yeah. Technically, I guess it could be expansion area for Galaxy's Edge too. They want to go there,
right?
I just looked on Google Maps, and if they changed out the Muppets Courtyard, they would have to get rid of a road that's back there. Cypress Drive runs behind that. And you're right, the Muppets Theater really isn't enough space to do a roller coaster.
Yeah, you need a lot of space for that. So, which is why I'm sticking with Animation Courtyard area. Okay. I think there's more room to expand on that side than the Muppets area.
Well, as a Muppets fan, I really hope y'all are right.
Yeah. And just to use the idea of a transition, which people are signaling that this particular announcement may announce the death knell for Star Tours. Oh, wow. Okay, because essentially they're the same kind of ride between Smuggler's Run and Star Tours, right? It's basically a simulator. So this announcement has to do with Mandalorian and Grogu, and is basically a change in storyline to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. A couple of things. Dave Filoni, when he came out and announced this, and I quote, he says, "Just imagine it. You'll be able to fly alongside Mando and Grogu on thrilling and dangerous missions." And he says they're going to be using Epic's Unreal Engine. So if you're a video game fan, you're familiar with that video game engine as being used to bring this new mission to life. And it's supposed to be a new movie, so to speak, for Smuggler's Run.
Sorely needed. Yeah. Sorely needed.
Yep. I would agree too, especially when they're doing the Mandalorian and Grogu thing. Which they announced in the entertainment showcase, and that property is still going. You know, Hondo Naka hasn't been as popular since Rebels, or even before that with Clone Wars, and it's been a minute, so they can move on from Hondo for sure, and then go into something else. But yeah, I think this is a good idea.
I hope you get a better reward for doing the mission that they send you on than what the old guy did. That's for sure.
The coaxium.
Coaxium, yeah.
Hopefully, they
2 coaxium, as Josh says. Doesn't matter.
2.
Yeah, curious.
So Mandalorian Grogu is going to be rethemed for both Walt Disney World and Disneyland in their Galaxy's Edge Smuggler's Run. So that's going to happen. No year, no nothing yet. Just throwing out there.
Oh.
So I'll use that as a transition to Disneyland Park out in California. That's all the stuff we had for Walt Disney World in that particular presentation. And so now we're talking about the Disneyland stuff. And I'll start with the things that have been named as opening. First of all, November 15th, 2024 has been named as the opening for Disneyland's Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So opening over Thanksgiving in time for the holiday season.
Good for them.
Yeah. And then the other thing has a name, or has been named, is in 2025, we're going to get a stage show in Disneyland over there. in the Disneyland park, and that is Walt Disney: A Magical Life. And in this particular thing, which is
this looks so cool.
Yes.
In Disneyland's Main Street Opera, first ever audio animatronic of Walt Disney will be there. The showing will be in rotation with great moments of Mr. Lincoln. So this is another story to catch in that one space, which I'm looking forward to this one.
Me too. Walt right across from his apartment. How about that?
It's perfect.
Walt Disney back in Disneyland. That is so cool.
Makes perfect sense.
It does.
It is perfect.
I wonder who's going to do the voice.
I was saying to Josh that I was really jealous that it wasn't going to be in Disney World. And Josh was like, stop it. It has to be in Disneyland. Like, it's too perfect. Like, they can't do that not in Disneyland. Like, all right, fine. You're right. Kevin, you just asked about the voice. I'm hoping it's AI. I hope that they use Walt's voice. And then they use AI to generate another script.
I think that'd be great.
I agree. Yeah, wholeheartly. I think that's exactly what you got to do. You don't want people being like, that don't say like, well, you got to go that way.
They're going to say that whatever, no matter what.
Yeah. If there's anybody out there that thinks that this is disrespectful to Walt or any way sacrilegious or anything like that, no, just no. I'm sorry. Walt thought enough to put Abraham Lincoln's a representation of him in his park. He thinks that historical figures should be made into animatronics and you should be able to have a moment and see them and watch them speak and stuff like that. So I don't think Walt would have any problem with this whatsoever.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, what better way to honor him than to put him in a system that he created?
Yes.
And an advanced version of that. Mm-hmm. You know, and then that, you're like, now we can bring Walt to life, and technology has come to that point. And so now people can understand who actually Walt Disney is. Mm. He's not this corporate conglomerate, but he was once actually a person that had this dream.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that's great.
Yeah.
So for Disneyland, those are the only two things that actually had a named year.
Okay.
So the other things that we're going to talk about is dealing with a Coco attraction that's supposed to come to Disney's California Adventure.
Oh, so happy to see this.
Yes,
so happy.
Me too, man. And they say it will draw inspiration from the Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean, which has me very, very curious.
Music to my ears.
As far as how they want to treat this. So, I mean, this is it looks like they're going back to the basics as far as that kind of storytelling and level of detail with those two attractions that they named.
It looked beautiful.
I'm looking forward to it.
So looks beautiful.
And it deserves it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Grand Fiesta Tour, you're on deck. If this does well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, three amigos.
And I'd be fine with that. I know Emmy's going to be mad at me because she loves her Caballeros, and I like the Caballeros too, but I'm sorry. That is just made for Coco.
With no opening date, I could see this becoming like a surprise. So, not at this D23, obviously, because we just had it, but, the next D23, I could see them being like, hey, that attraction that we were going to put in Disneyland? Mm-hmm. Well, now Disney World is getting it too. And then they end up doing them both at the same time, but Lands just opens a little bit sooner than Worlds. Mm-hmm. And that was what they did with Mickey's Runaway Railway.
Oh, yeah.
They announced it for Hollywood Studios, but then shortly after, they announced it for Toontown, and then ours just opened ahead of the other one. I could see them doing that, but opposite with Grand Fiesta Tour and this one in Disneyland.
Yeah, and the original El Rio Tiempo, that was a Day of the Dead celebration.
Yeah,
go figure.
Right. They had one in there, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be great.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Definitely going to be great.
My guess is that this is going to be a replacement for Little Mermaid.
Oh, that's interesting.
That is interesting. Huh.
I wonder why.
Because that's in that Pixar area. And The Little Mermaid currently doesn't fit at all in that Pixar area.
Yeah, but do you think Coco would fit better?
It's Pixar.
Pixar, yeah.
Yeah, but outside of the name, I mean...
It's Coco.
Yeah,
I don't know. I could be wrong. I think it's going to take over that building.
Okay. No, that's a calling your shot, man. Very good. I didn't even think about that, but that's a
Haunted Mansion ride system. It's got enough space to house something like that.
So yeah, but they gotta. But it's going to be a boat, Coco. They got to make water. But
it didn't say Haunted Mansion ride system. It says it's inspired by Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion. One's a boat, one's an omnimover. So it could be either
both
one.
are slow moving, so it's going to be something.
It looked like a boat to me.
I didn't see a picture of anything with a boat.
Yeah, that's definitely a fucking boat on water.
Oh yeah. And so most of the things that were announced that have no named years are in Disney California Adventure. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is Avatar Land, is set to open. So, and they say not only will it take inspiration from Avatar: The Way of Water, but it'll also incorporate Avatar: Fire and Ash and any future Avatar films. Fire and Ash was announced on the entertainment showcase on that Friday night. And they also say that there will also be a new attraction that will take guests to the wide open seas of Pandora in this particular attraction. Yeah, so you're getting this entire land, Avatar Land and Disney's California Adventure. This is nothing new, though.
No,
Right.
We've heard about this. Iger has talked about it. So when I heard this announcement, I was like, oh, okay, we really kind of talked about this.
Yeah, no surprise there.
Looks
was-
like it'd be like the Pirates of Caribbean in China, in Shanghai ride system, which I hope it is because that'd be great. But
Home run with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to see that ride system at play. I'm not the biggest Avatar fan in the world. I'm not an Avatar fan. What am I saying?
No, I was gonna say.
At all, but this looks amazing. And yeah, I don't have to like the movie to like the world. And this world looks beautiful. And the concept art that they revealed only made it look even. They managed to add to what we saw earlier with the first glimpse of what it was supposed to look like and make it really pop.
all right, and so the next set of additions to Disney's California Adventure deals with Avengers Campus.
About time. You could do something, please.
Yeah,
Yes.
Eli's been quiet for long enough.
Yeah,
I'm
so
Well, I can still walk when this
Right.
thing shows up.
well,
huh?
there's no year that was given again, but
you-
it was but a name was given to the attraction itself. So it
I
wasn't
mean-
just a random here's Marvel attraction name, but they have an attraction called Avengers Infinity Defense, which is supposed to be an Avengers Campus.
No can defense.
No can defense, that's
for
right.
Infinity.
And they say guests will be able to jump between worlds that have gone missing on their quest to stop King Thanos. This perilous journey will take them to Asgard, Wakanda, and New York City alongside Iron Man, Ant-Man, the Hulk, Black Panther, and more. And Tony Stark is supposed to be done by RDJ himself, Robert
Nice.
Downey Jr.
That'd be
for
cool, yeah.
this attraction, the other attraction I'll talk about in a second.
Okay.
But there you go. So Avengers Infinity Defense.
So we're getting our Quinjet.
Yeah, this
I
was
hope
what
it's
they
a
promised.
Quinjet. I don't know. But if they're jumping between worlds, you got to need a vehicle that can do that. And I would assume, I don't know.
I wish they could jump between worlds. Tell us when this ride's coming. But
That'd be nice.
that would be nice.
Well, there is a multiverse where it's coming next year. Eli.
Oh, boy.
Yes,
Let me
that's
jump.
right.
What's the over under right there? We'll talk to that version later. Yes.
All right. So the other attraction, which stars RDJ, is called Stark Flight Lab. And in Avengers Campus, this new attraction will have guests sitting in two-person pods being transported to a test station. Then a robot arm will grab that pod and give the guest a feeling of simulated flight. So this is basically Disney jumping on the bandwagon and using the Kuka robotic arm
Mhm.
for a ride system. A Kuka robotic arm on a track specifically, kind of like the Harry Potter ride
Yeah.
over there in Universal. But they're jumping on that ride system and using it in this particular case. So this looks like fun.
It could be fun.
Like some involved thrills, but on the track.
I'm pumped.
She pumped.
All right. Yeah, not a big fan of the Kuka arm one. Big fan of the first one. Yeah, Kuka arm, like, just, that's it. That's the best we can come up. We're simulating flight.
Did it all the time.
Well, I mean,
Sounds very spider bottish to me.
yeah.
You missed the most important part. RDJ returns as Tony Stark.
You mean Dr. Doom?
Man, why you gotta bring up stuff?
It's a trap. It's a trap. It's a, oh no.
No, look, this is great. I think, look, Avengers Campus needs some love.
Yeah.
It needs a good ride. Shoot, I wouldn't be a bit opposed if they got rid of that awful Doctor Strange show in order to make room for some of this. So, yeah, the fact that it's doubling in size, the fact that they're going to be pushing forward with the Avengers ride, the e-ticket ride that we've been promised for years, this is
Long
great.
time.
But I do wish that we got, maybe they'll get more details on that Kuka arm ride that'll make me say, oh, okay, that'd be cool. Because it's not like Tony Stark, Iron Man has a whole great list of rogue villains that you're like, oh, he could be fighting this guy or that guy. It's like,
Cool. Yeah.
yeah, I don't
That
really.
blew that up a long time ago.
Maybe you
Yeah.
get the Mandarin for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
You better off see them
I'm
get the Mandalorian.
I'm so tired of that bait and switch.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've been
man.
already. I'm like you, Kevin. Like you, they didn't
Trevor?
hurt me too much. Too much.
Trevor Slattery?
Trevor Slattery.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Kuka arm stuff. And, you know, in the movies and stuff, you see Stark has little versions of the arm
Mhm.
thing. So to have those kind of robots in his particular testing lab makes sense to me. It actually fits. Whereas, you know, it's a Universal, you don't realize you're in a a robotic arm, even though you know it's a robotic arm.
Yeah.
For that particular use, I was like, okay, yeah, this kind of makes sense. It's in his lab. You know, he reprograms his arms to do stuff. And maybe at the end we crash and then he tells the guy to stop. Don't blow fire extinguisher on us.
Oh,
you know? Don't do it. Don't even think about it.
Easy.
Something like that. But yeah. So for Disneyland, that's pretty much it. That's the stuff that they've named. Most of the stuff has no opening year except for the two things, the stage show as well as the Tiana's, which we already knew was happening. But everything else is up in the air.
I'm excited that for Avengers Campus, they're just going hard on attractions. Like, I personally, it's my feeling, I feel like the theming is already okay in there. Like, we got a lot of characters, we got a lot of streetmosphere, the dining is good, there's good food. I think what it really needs is attractions, good attractions. And so I like that what they've announced for Avengers Campus is just all attractions. Like, we've nailed everything else, now we need real rides. I like that.
Rachel, what is the good food? It can't be the PIM testing.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the PIM testing kitchen. I'm a fan. Listen, the best food in the land is the shawarma cart.
That's what I was going to say.
But I do like the PIM testing kitchen. Although in fairness to like my experience there, I have only done snacks there. Like, we did the pretzel and we did the chocolate bar there is incredible. And then we've done beers.
Okay.
Yay, beers.
And so if I've only done snacks and beers, and then we get the shawarma as our meal.
Yeah, I remember getting that specialty drink, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to try it. And
I was like drinking
pure
sugar or something. Yeah.
Yeah, the specialty drinks are gross.
I was gonna say our teeth almost turned to straight liquid after trying to drink that stuff.
I had to get a tooth pulled right after.
Dennis was on speed dial after that one.
Well, let me ask y'all a question since we're at the end here. Which coast made out better? Disney World, Disneyland?
Oh, World for sure.
I'm going to go with Disneyland on this one.
Yeah.
I like Disney World only because Disney World has more things that have definite years attached to them. So I have more hopeful, and I'm happy that we're probably going to see that more so than Disneyland, which didn't really have years attached to them. So who knows what's going to happen to that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but all the fresh new stuff got to Disneyland.
Sure.
Well,
Tell me what it is.
Think about all those new things in Animal Kingdom.
The dinosaur thing is more of a reskin.
Right.
You're getting...
Okay, but then the Encanto ride is all new.
Okay. But then, I would counter Encanto with Coco. And I would say that's a wash. Fair?
Okay. Probably fair. But then Cars Land in Magic Kingdom.
Okay. I think that the Avengers ride and the Tony Stark thing, I would think that would counteract anything like as far as the Cars rides. What do y'all think?
This is new.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would
But
say,
then I say Villains Land.
and then I say Avatar Land.
And then I say the Star Parade.
And I say Walt Disney Animatronic.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay.
That's like boom.
Yeah, I know you're not as excited about this.
Here's where Monsters. I was going to say. Now here's where you might have an argument is with Monsters. That one is a little bit tougher for me.
Harryhausen. Oh my God. I
she's
cannot
pulling
wait.
at my heartstrings on this one. But that Shanghai boat ride, I want to see that. I want to see that so bad.
I want to see that as well.
I don't know. I still lean towards Disneyland on this.
I think in terms of what they're doing, the topics, the announcements, I would say maybe Disneyland edges out Walt Disney World. But in terms of reality and what they've attached years to, I think Walt Disney World is going to come out on top.
No, yeah. No.
We don't know what's going to happen with the stuff that's unyeared. I mean, we could have say this now, and then years down the road, something happens like, well, we're changing how it's going to be done, or it's not going to be at the level at which they originally described. But yes, the idea was great. But I think in reality, Walt Disney World's ahead on this one.
Okay.
They have more commits. You know, they're more committed on that side.
They're more committed. You better do it.
They put the ring on it.
I have a question for all of you, and then I have my answer. But I want to know what for you wasn't announced that you were thinking for sure it would be. So my answer is the retheming of Pecos Bills. I thought we were going to get news about retheming Pecos Bills. We didn't get it. I was surprised. But I want to know, for you, is there anything that you kind of expected that we didn't hear about and you think it's probably still happening, or maybe now it's not? Like, who knows? But that's for me. Like, what about Pecos Bills?
A new country being added to Epcot. I was disappointed about that. I think there were two things that stopped this from being a home run. Like this was as close to a home run as you could possibly get. But to get to a grand slam, you needed to add another country to Epcot, and you needed to increase capacity over at Animal Kingdom. And I don't know that you've made Animal Kingdom a full day park by just switching out the attractions over in Animal Kingdom. I hope they go that route because Animal Kingdom is gorgeous at night. But another attraction, another area, I would have loved to have seen a Percy Jackson area in Animal Kingdom. I would have loved to have seen that. But those are the two things that stopped this from being a grand slam, is that there wasn't a new country announced at Epcot. And I thought we would at least get that. But I did want another area opened in Animal Kingdom.
Well, I think myself, if I can go.
Yes.
And no reason to expect this to be announced, except that I think it was Eric Grubb who brought it up. It would be perfect if they just move the Muppets over to the end of Sunset Boulevard and retheme the Twilight Zone to Muppets, that haunted hotel. They rethemed Rock and Roller Coaster with the band.
Electric Mayhem.
Them. And you took Muppets 3D and you put it back in that theater they got where Cars is now.
Mm.
And you open up that whole Muppets courtyard area to do whatever you want with Star Wars or whatever else. Expand on that. And you have your Muppets right there. You keep their presence there. Because I mean, not married to the building. It's still the same show that Jim Henson worked on. Plus, the Muppets 70th anniversary coming up soon. That's
Disneyland, yeah.
Disneyland's.
Yeah,
but it's a Muppets anniversary coming up soon, I think. But that would have been a good announcement for that. You would have kept that IP there. You would have gotten rid of the whole Twilight Zone licensing thing they got to do. Put the Muppets in there, and people would have loved it. That's what I think.
Yeah, but what about Gonzo's Royal Flush bathrooms?
That's for the hotels.
You got them bathrooms over. You got them bathrooms right next to Tower of Terror.
Okay.
Oh man.
No, that's not a bad idea at all. That really isn't. I've always been partial to that area. There's something about being in that area where I could have sat there all day and just absorbed the atmosphere of the Muppets courtyard area until they start chipping away at the fountain, chipping away at the aesthetics, and it doesn't look as good as it used to. So if they wanted to move it now, I'm kind of like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Kevin, anything you expected?
Well, I didn't really think about this because I went into D23 just with very low expectations. But something that I thought about, which would be great, is, and the reason why I think about this, because on the Disney board, one of the guys that they used to work with when dealing with Magical Express is now on the board. So like, oh, well, they got this guy on the board. Maybe they're going to bring back this particular service, and is to have some kind of announcement about like a Magical Express type service, but both for Walt Disney World and Disneyland, where you fly in, your luggage just automatically shows up in your room. That kind of thing. I was expecting maybe something like that, especially with Walt Disney World's expected cahoots with the Brightline high speed rail thing. I thought they were going to have some kind of huge transportation thing that would just make some program maybe bigger than Magical Express to help you, aid you on your vacation, to help you start your vacation early, that kind of thing.
Yeah, keep you away from Universal.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I would say this, one more thing that I kind of did expect to come was a Moana attraction. I was surprised to know, now you got Moana 2 coming out, you got a live action Moana, and still all we have is how her water journeys. Like, come on, man, build that sucker.
Journey of tap water.
Journey of tap water.
My other expected announcement was, I still am very curious as to what they're doing with the Wonders of Life Pavilion, which they had previously announced would become the Play Pavilion.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just sitting there. I'm still looking forward to whatever that becomes. But yeah, no announcements. So I'm surprised that we're just going to keep waiting on that.
Yeah, that's true. Because I thought that was already worked on, and maybe we're much closer to getting it than not getting it. But it's true. I forgot about that.
It's
That's
gonna be
sad that it's been that long.
Right.
I've forgotten about that.
It's going to be a big lounge, a tavern, huge bar,
serve some drinks.
Oktoberfest level drinking.
So what do our listeners have to say?
Well, yeah, let's get right to it, man. We did something on Facebook and we got a lot of responses. So let's do some guest services.
Be our guest. Be our guest. Put our service to the test. Tie your napkin.
And here we are on guest services, the segment in which we get to service you, the listener. And this time we serviced you through our Magic Our Way Pleasure Island Facebook group. We asked for some responses about the 2024 D23 Experiences Showcase. And the Mohicans delivered, man. So there's a bunch, and we'll probably read some more of them later, but I'll start with this first one.
All right.
So this will start with a Mohican Fantasy Football League member. His name is Drake L. From the lovely state of Louisiana. And he says this. He has a lot of different points. So I'll just kind of jump through them and then we can respond. He sent this through Facebook. So if you're part of that Magic Our Way Pleasure Island Facebook group, you can definitely join in the conversation with us. But he says, I think overall they knocked it out of the park this year. Mm-hmm. Kind of disappointed with the Zootopia replacing Tough to Be Bug when Dinosaur was up for the taking. Would have fit perfectly and would have kept the indie version exclusive to Disneyland Resort.
That's right, Drake. Preach, sir. Preach.
Great idea.
Testify.
And then he goes on to say, concept art makes it look like Monsters, Inc. is going to take Muppets and Star Tours from us, but I'm neither here nor there on that. I'm excited for another coaster. There you go.
Okay.
And then he says, Cars is cool. I don't know what else I would have picked to go there, but Cars is an interesting choice. I'm glad it won't be a carbon copy of California, though. Also, Villains Land is one everyone has wanted for a long time, so I'm glad we're getting it.
Yeah, there seemed to be a lot of that. The whole, all these long-standing rumored attractions like door coasters and Villains Lands and let's just give it all.
Let them have it.
Let them have it, yeah. And then he had a couple of other comments about some of the stuff that we haven't covered in the international parks, but I'll use his last 2 points that he makes. He says the lounges look incredible, but I feel like they'll be impossible to enter.
Yeah.
And like one of my friends said, you better be ready to drink alcohol at 9 a.m. if that's your reservation time. I'm okay with that, actually. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
That's what the Bloody Marys are for.
Yep.
Yeah, that's that's a good point there. One thing Epcot's lacking is a place to get food and drink, right? You can never have enough of those.
I mean, why stop there?
Right. No, look, he's right on the money. This is going to be an impossible ride, especially, like I said, around firework time.
Mm-hmm. And then the last point he says about the domestic parts, he says, new nighttime parade finally is all I'm going to say. Yes.
That's true. You do need
Good
one.
Stuff.
Yeah.
So thanks, Drake, for writing on that.
Who's next?
And the next comment comes from Alexandra D. At the risk of starting to sound old and crotchety at almost 30, my first big thought was, will we ever see a time again where all 4 parks are not under construction? Genuinely.
Oh, man.
Not that I'm not excited. I genuinely cannot wait to see some of this develop, especially Cars and Monsters finally.
Mm-hmm. She's got a great point there.
Yeah. It's like a city, right? It's like there's always some part of the city that's under construction.
Yeah. It's going to be an eyesore for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. And then she goes on to say, but this begs into my next question. What is the insane resistance to a 5th gate? Magic Kingdom is starting to become way more IP based than I want it to be. It feels like we're doing backbends to fit IP into existing lands instead of letting them shine in an environment all their own. So, I mean, that's a great point.
Not wrong.
That is not wrong, and that's a great point. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I would agree in the sense that, if you did the 5th gate, the only problem with that, as we've pointed out previously, I mean, is they have so many problems with studios and they have so many problems with Animal Kingdom being full day parks with enough to do. And so I think a lot of people would like to see them get that in order before they start trying to do it all over again with a new park. Mm-hmm. But having said that, it's better than trying to fit square pegs in round holes.
Exactly right. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. Now she goes on to say, do I love Encanto? Absolutely. One of the best films recently. Does it fit in Animal Kingdom? No. What kind of conservation does it support? Maybe it's the insane park junkie in me who is a purist, but I feel like we're losing the plot of imagineering new things and really marrying into IP. Have I been complaining about this for about a decade? Yeah, I have. Yes, you have. A lot of us, Alexander. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you echo the sentiments of all of us. That is 100% factual.
Yep. And she concludes, she says, will these attractions blow my mind? 10,000%. I'm hoping to finally get back to the parks for the first time in 5 years this next year. I just miss a sprinkle of original storytelling.
We've been saying that.
She ain't lying.
I feel like I've been wandering through the desert looking for an oasis of original content.
On Alexandra's horse of no name.
Yes. And there's none to be found.
There is none to be had.
The wells run dry because I don't know what to tell you.
Help, it's all cactus.
You ain't kidding.
Yeah.
And she has this tag at the end of her post and she says, and I quote, also, I have missed my Mohican family. Or fam, love all of you. And thank you, Alexandra. It's good to hear from you, girl. It's been a little bit, and I'm glad you're still around and you came back to us, and we're still here.
Yeah, we're here for you.
That's right. And how could we miss you if you don't go away?
That's right, exactly. So now we really miss you.
That's right.
We're fam.
Not in a creaky way.
Fam.
We're fam.
Boom.
We miss you, fam.
Word.
Yeah.
Who's next?
And this next one's another long time a weekend. Susanna B. Oh, Susanna.
Oh,
As we
she's
used to
been
call her.
crushing it with her opinions. Everything she says, it's like, wow, I don't even need to say nothing. She just did it.
She did it. Yeah. All over the Facebook. But I'm going to use this one because I thought this was really, really good. And she wrote a nice big long one. So it's good. She says, I am beyond stoked for a nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom. It's been too long.
Mm-hmm.
And there is just something so wonderfully delightful about the atmosphere at night in Magic Kingdom. A sorely needed parade will add to that.
Mm-hmm.
I am a little worried about Monsters, Inc. possibly taking Muppet Vision 3D out of commission. Granted, I'm a big Muppets fan, but it's still fun and a good people eater, people cooler when crowds are high. And she goes on to say, I'm disappointed there was no update regarding Rock and Roller Coaster retheming. My hope would be that if Monsters, Inc. does take out Muppet Vision, then the next D23 they'll announce a much begged for Electric Mayhem retheme for Rock and Roller Coaster. I could easily see that happening. Electric Mayhem retheme. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Why not?
I think that.
I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Wow, man.
Same.
Wow.
And go on, and she says, I do think that Encanto is to AK what Moana is to Epcot. Sure, it sort of fits if we stretch and maneuver it a bit. But hey, when you have a successful IP, you're going to rationalize its placement no matter what.
Yeah. maneuver it.
Squeeze it, yeah.
Squeeze.
And she ends, all in all, I'm very satisfied. It's been a long post-COVID road to get here, and it's clearly made everyone happy. Smiley face.
Smiley face.
That's right. And a bunch of O's. So yeah, Susanna, thank you so much. That was right on the money. Just like Danny said, you basically, all this stuff, as you've been going along, you've been just nailing it at the park with your thoughts and stuff.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
She's got it.
Who's next?
And Lisa P., also a longtime contributor on the Magic Our Way Pleasure Island group. She says this, people pay good money to hear exciting announcements at D23. Disney doesn't disappoint. Once everyone goes home, it's a different story. These announcements are part of the show.
So
she pulled it out of what was being talked about and talked about D23 itself.
Well, I will say, yeah. So that's one thing that I have heard spoken about, and I wasn't there, was that Cars attraction announcement did not get much of a reaction, and it may have even gotten a smattering of boos, if you will.
Oh, wow.
So I would not be a bit surprised if they're like, ooh, that just did not land like we thought it would.
Yeah.
Maybe let's rethink this. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it goes to that point of it's a nice show, it's a presentation, but card subject to change.
Especially this stuff without a year. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the last quote, I got to use this one.
Who's next?
It is from Leslie M. And she has this to say, and I quote, my opinion is I don't trust them. And quote.
Join the club.
Also, Leslie's she's very short with it. I love it. Her responses are great. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, especially like I mentioned this all throughout the show. They don't put a year on it. I don't trust it at all.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get excited about it until they say, yes, 2029. All right.
Even if they put a year and they missed that year, at least they're saying, hey, it's coming.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Shovels in the ground. We'll be moving dirt. We'll be moving earth. We'll be starting.
For you.
No year. It's like, no, this ain't blue sky, but we're telling you, it's coming.
So you're like Beyonce. If you announce it, then you better put a year on it.
Better put a year on it.
Yep. So saying the word, this is not blue sky. This is stuff we're actually working on. Not just words.
Yeah.
Blue sky is the stuff you're still working on. I mean, you're thinking about it.
Yeah, it could be concept. It could be, we're still talking about it, trying to do this work. Look, I'm with her. I mean, and I'm with you too, Kevin. I mean, everybody's been hurt. They throw out a dream, and then the dream doesn't come true. I mean, I too wish for more Avengers and Avengers Campus and the promise of these e-ticket attractions I hear about. But I say it never happened. Then this thing comes out, and what happens? I don't get a year. Yeah. It is tough to trust when you don't have a promise.
I was waiting for humbug to follow Ba.
Yeah.
It didn't come, but...
Say, I'm about to make a name for myself here.
That's it.
Oh man, look at you, spoken like a true Cajun.
True. That's beautiful, man.
That's beautiful, man.
That's beautiful,
All right.
man.
So look, thank you to all the Mohicans that wrote in on that little prompt on our Facebook page, group page. That is, we do have a special group for all our Mohicans and stuff. So thank you guys that responded, and your opinions, like I said, are always welcome on this show. And if you want to share your opinions, your thoughts, or whatever else about D23, you definitely have a platform here on this podcast. And we're about to tell you how to get in touch with us to do that in just a little bit. We hope you enjoyed that episode of the Magic RA podcast. Look, MagicRA.com is the way to go. There you'll find our social media links, past episodes, and more. Also, if you want to get in touch with us to share your opinions about anything we talked about, you can do so through the following ways. First of all, shoot us an email at show@magicra.com, or call or send us a text message at 1-815-MOHICAN. That is 1-815
Mohican
669-4226. And of course, we have a couple people do things outside of the podcast. First of all, we got Eli does things with comics. Eli, what you got?
Yes, sir. When you're out there on the internet, you make sure you have a stop at www.ivorycomics.com. You see all the work that I have, 48 pages, fully colored. The only ad for them is for this podcast. That includes the Molly Be Damned, Projectation, Savages. Also, there's a link to blog and interview posts. You can have that. And, of course, a link to the Magic Our Way podcast, so you never miss a beat. You never miss an episode. You never miss what came out on D23, but it may show up on some year. It may not. But you just got to learn how all that happened. So I appreciate the support, www.ivorycomics.com. On social media, I'm right there, Facebook. Eli H. Ivy is where you can find me as long as you're a real person. It's a pleasure to meet you. But if you're a bot, I am too tired to greet you. I don't even know what you look like anymore. Just show up, just offer you things. And it ain't even true. It's a cold world bot, but get on out there. That's all I'm saying. Also on Facebook, there's a Project Geisha fan page. So facebook.com/Project Geisha. On Instagram, posting up the hearts and the likes and hear your story and share your glorious EIV504 is where you can find me there. And of course on X, they should have an X mention, something in there, at least for Disney. But anyway, on X, I can be found at Hancock 10166. So yes, if you appreciate the madness, you're just bringing me the gladness. Thank you very much.
Maybe when you're 85.
I know, right? Gotta get cryogenically frozen now to see some of this stuff.
Your head will be going on the ride.
He's frozen head. This is great.
He's frozen head. That's right. But you know what's going to happen when you're that old? Rachel will still be around to book a vacation for you.
I hope so.
Yep. So if you want to see all this stuff by the time it opens, you can book with Rachel, and she'll tell you how to do this.
I would be honored to help your family book your vacation to Disney destinations, Universal, cruise lines, and major hotel brands around the world. Booking with me is at no extra cost to you. The cost of a travel agent is built into the cost of your vacation, whether you use one or not. And when you book with me, a little bit of your trip comes back to support the podcast and the fan community here at Magic Our Way. You can reach me at Rachel, RACHEL, at magicourway.com, or you can find me at R, the letter R, Family Magic, so Our Family Magic, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. You can also give me a call or a text. My phone number is 978-432-WISH. Reach out today and let's make some magic with your family vacation.
And of course, we've got to thank our special guest, the invaluable Captain Cajun Chavez, or his alter ego, the Pixie Kirkster. Kirk, thanks for coming on the show, sir.
What was that second name? The Pixie what?
The Pixie Kirkster. You remember that?
Oh, man, that is awesome. I like that.
I know. That's what we named Positive Kirk.
Positive Kirk.
The positive. I said, you got to be positive. Look, what would Walt think? I have no idea. The man's been dead for years. I don't know. As always, it's a pleasure being here always. Even I can't be there in the studio with y'all. Look, I'm looking at y'all lovely faces, and I'm still sitting across from Eli. Best place ever.
Always.
The pleasure's mine.
So warm.
Pleasure's mine.
Well, look, if y'all want to access all the info we just mentioned, go to magicourway.com/about us. Also, if you want to elevate your support of the Magic Our Way podcast, go to patreon.com/magicourway. There you'll find 6 awesome tiers to support the show. Also, another way to support us is to book that vacation with Rachel, and a little bit of that comes back to this show. And another option to support us, and it only costs a minute or so of your time, is to leave a rating and review in Apple Podcasts and or wherever you access our show, whether it is YouTube, Spotify, Podbean, etc. Any way in which you can support the show is deeply appreciated. We also want to thank you for being a loyal listener, and we always love hearing from our listeners. All opinions are welcome on the Magic Our Way podcast, so make sure you get in touch with us today. So we say Kwaherini. My name is Kevin.
And I'm Danny.
Magic out.
All right. Nachos are on plates.
And you are. Bye.